And as we go, you know, I don't know how many more slides I have, but if you have any questions, stop me. If you disagree with what I'm saying, challenge me. I'd love to have a conversation with you. So, my daughter's at Deloitte and loves it. She's traveling all over the country. She does risk audit work. She's not an IT person, but she's got a lot of female colleagues. So what can you do? Now, are most of you, what grade level in high school? Are you? Juniors, seniors, sophomores?
Yeah,
Ninth
freshmen through seniors.
Freshmen through seniors. What you want to do is get started.
And graduates.
And graduates.
So, okay. If you have an opportunity and you're interested in technology, Jacob, Jordan, whomever else might be interested, start playing around. Get some exposure. You probably know more about Windows 8 than I do, but get some exposure. If you get a chance to do some database development, do it. Get Microsoft Access and play with it. If you don't have a copy and you want a copy, call me. I'll find a way to get you one. If you get a chance to learn programming, the big programming languages today are .NET and Java. Play around, practice, get your hands wet, get your feet wet. Believe it or not, probably the most important thing you can do if you want to be an IT person is be a business person. One of the things I think has helped me a lot is I made it a point that as I moved from manufacturing to distribution to retail to healthcare and now to higher ed, the one thing I've always done is I've worked really, really hard to understand the business. I understood as much about Camelot music as any of my colleagues, because I had to. I had to have intimate knowledge of what goes on in the stores, intimate knowledge of what goes on in purchasing, intimate knowledge of what goes on in the warehouse. The warehouse we built in North Canton, Ohio, I designed that. And I'm not a logistics and distribution guy, but I had enough initiative that the founder of the company said, we need to do this. I went and found a consulting firm to help us, and we designed it and built it. So if you want to be an IT person, you have to understand the business you're working for. And what's really interesting about IT is it's transferable across any industry, but the challenges are very similar. You work in a hospital, they have the same challenges with technology that we have at a university. Keeping the servers running, keeping the network running, keeping Epic running and updated, or whatever applications they use. It's all the same challenges. And really, even from industry to industry, the applications don't differ all that much. They have a patient information system, electronic medical records system that keeps track of patients. At the university, we have a student information system that we keep track of all of our students. In a manufacturing company, we have a system that keeps track of all the inventory and the raw materials and the parts that go into final assemblies. But if you want to be an IT person, you have to be a business person. Find an internship, even in high school. If you want to do this, find a way, even if it's for free, to go to work and get some exposure. And if it's answering phones on a help desk, do that, because it'll provide you with exposure. If you have a chance, I hear daily about, in fact, I got a call from a young man that goes to Jackson, wanted an internship. I called the CIO at Stark State. His name's Mike Droney. I said, Mike, is there an opportunity for this gentleman? So I think he's a junior at Jackson, and he's now working as an intern at Stark State. So leverage this network, this thing called the Operations Committee. If you want internships, leverage us, push us to help you. Call me, and I'll do anything I can do to help make those connections for you. I'll make the connection, but you've got to get the job. But I'll work really hard to make the connections for you. So if do whatever you can do to get some practical hands-on experience. Play around, work with the stuff. You probably do more of it than I do. But get your hands on it and get comfortable with it. I happen to believe I've chosen the IT profession. It's really interesting. I'll never forget this. In the late 60s, my father we farmed and during the day, and he worked at the railroad at night. And he came home and said to me once, Jim, I have no idea what these things are, but we're putting in computers, and it appears to be a big deal. And this was in the late 60s. I chose that career path, and I'm really happy that I did. I love what I do. I think what I love the most is working with young adults and providing technology that helps young adults through their learning process. I've been very fortunate to, I made a little bit of money along the way. When Camelot Music sold, even though it was owned by a local family, the David family out of Massillon, the owner of the company, because of the value that I added, I said to him one day, well, over my 15 years there, I said, Paul, I've got to leave. I've got to go to a bigger and better opportunity. And I've got to go to an organization where I can have some ownership in the company. And he called me Jimmy. He said, Jimmy, just stick with me. I'll take care of it. At the end, when we sold the business, because I had faith in him, I'll never forget this, about a month after the business sold, I had no interest in the company, so I made no money in the sale. Paul walks in and hands me an envelope. He said, I told you I'd take care of you. And he gave me an envelope, and it was very generous, on his part. And the reason he did that was I learned his business, I helped him automate it, and what it did is it created about $90 million worth of additional value for him when he sold the business. He in turn shared a bit of that with me, not 90 million, but he shared a bit of that with me. And it was because I helped him achieve what he wanted to achieve. The company that bought us was a company out of Bahrain. So it's a company right on the edge of Saudi Arabia. Their Saudi oil money is where the money came from. And what they did is they bought Camelot because our systems were so good. And their intent was to take Camelot as the base and buy a bunch of other companies and put them all together. What we all missed was what iTunes was going to do to the industry. And they even missed it, the people that bought us. Paul says he knew. I'm not certain that's true, but he sold the business at the right time. I happen to believe there is no separation. There can't be a separation between technology and business. If you're not a business person, you're not going to be a technologist. You can be a technologist and not be a business person, and you're going to be unemployed. But if you know both, you'll do quite well. I've been in IT my whole career. I intend to stay in IT. Tom made reference to what I'm going to do next. What I want to do is one more entrepreneurial thing. I'm going to go start a business at some point. I think I know what the business is going to be. I think I know who I'm going to do it with. There's a group out of Des Moines, Iowa that builds state-of-the-art data centers in markets like Akron. And what they do then is they build those data centers and then they have other people share them. Used to be that every company owned its own. So Summa Healthcare, Akron General, the University of Akron, Goodyear would spend millions of dollars building their own data centers, and they would only use it for their own purpose. What these companies called co-location businesses are doing is they're building data centers and allowing multiple companies to share it. And by doing that, what happens is you get a much higher quality data center at a much lower cost. And Volta is the name of the company that I will likely join. They built a data center in Akron, and Summa and Akron General have moved all their computers into the Volta data center. This thing is amazing. It's tornado proof. It's got like 24 inches of concrete on the roof. It's got redundant everything. And there's no way that General or Summa could ever afford to build a data center like that for just their own purpose. So I'm likely going to go join that group and build these data centers around the country. Big thing is take action. If you're interested in learning more, talk to people that can teach you and share with you more. I'm going to give you my contact information. Anyone in this room that's interested in pursuing IT degrees, I will find a way to get you in touch with people. and we'll start with myself, obviously, but you owe it to yourself to do more. Find your passion. I don't care what it is. If it's IT, great. If it's marketing and sales, great. If it's healthcare, great. It doesn't matter. But whatever you do, find something you're going to wake up every day and just love. I love what I do, and it's crazy. My daughters think, why would you want to be an IT guy? Well, I just happen to love it. And so you just take action, do something. Whatever you do, when you do find your passion, work hard, be passionate about it. Wake up every day thinking about, what can I do to make the University of Akron better? How can we beat Kent? How can we beat Cleveland State? How can we beat Ohio State? And we do in engineering and polymer science and polymer engineering. So I'm going to ask you who said this. Do you know? Choose a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. Do you know who said that? It's another jump driver. Long time ago. Confucius. So, but it's really true. I suspect when I hear about the accomplishments of our new operations team members, they're passionate, or they wouldn't achieve what they've achieved. So there are a lot of great IT programs around. Akron's not the only. They're probably the best school in the country for IT is RIT in Rochester, the Rochester Institute of Technology. Probably the best, one of the best programs in the country. Akron is good, Kent's good. Stark State is a great way to start. That's how I got started. So only because I happen to work here and I love the University of Akron, and I'm a Zip. I'm always going to be a Zip. But there's a lot of other great schools. This is one of the many websites that you can learn more about IT jobs by accessing. And talk to people. Talk to people like me. Talk to your advisors at school. Talk to other people about what they do. Ask them. And if you're interested in IT, find people that do IT things and say, what do you do? And in many cases, if you were to ask them, can I come to work and watch you? They'd be happy to let you come and watch. If you ever want to come to the University of Akron and watch what a CIO does, it's kind of, you may find it boring, I just happen to love it. So, continue to play and experiment with the newest technologies. It's amazing how I struggle to learn this stuff, and how people like Jacob and others around the room, it's just natural to you. So I have to work on it. But I read, play, go try things. There's a lot of places you can go to get your hands on the technology. If there are IT clubs in your school, join them. People like me have professional meetings that we go to. You want to go to professional meetings with me, I'll take you. And I'm certain my colleagues would be willing to do the same around Northeastern Ohio. As I indicated earlier, internships, co-ops, get involved. Like, even if it's unpaid, get involved, because what comes is really good experience. That's me. I'm Jim at jimsage.us. That is my cell number. Feel free to reach out to me. I keep this personal because I want to run it through the university email, but I'll do anything that I can do to help you as you further assess if IT is something that you want to do. So, questions, thoughts? Doctor?
One of the most interesting things that he said early on, and this has to do with healthcare, and hospitals are data-rich and information poor. Right now in the United States, there is talk of a new medical specialty called medical informatics. And if you get involved with this, you will be invaluable. With a medical degree plus that, I'm a little too old to go into that now probably, but I would definitely do that. The second is there is not enough medical apps out there yet. It's just starting to scratch the surface. So I agree. And if you go somewhere like that, there is no limit to where you can go.
And Medicaid, Medicare, and I'll take your question in just a moment, have told us that if you don't get to the point where you can manage records electronically, we're not gonna pay you. So by 2015, medical records have to be automated or you're not gonna get paid. We got clinics on campus that we provide medical services to not only students, but to members of the public, and we've been told, you automate that process or we stop paying you. I believe it's 2015. And it's all about technology.
Hi, I have a question also. You discussed a lot of your language of IT and how to learn, how to communicate. Would you say that a lot of it was even interacting with international people?
Well, only because all the organizations, if you, well, even in higher education, it is now all international. It's, everyone's global. And, you know, even Smuckers has an international presence. And Asians don't like jelly, but they do like coffee, and they do like peanut butter. And so, you know, all organizations have global presences today. The University of Akron, we have recruiting offices in foreign countries where we recruit international students. So, and the technology makes that distance seamless. So there are no boundaries. Any thoughts or questions? Well, as I indicated, I will do anything I can do for you, regardless if it's IT related or not. One thing that I do understand now after 8 years is how our colleges and universities are organized. One thing I can tell you is we make it as complex as possible so we can confuse everyone, including students and employers. If I can help you navigate that, I'll be happy to. If you've got questions about financial aid, I'm not a financial aid expert, but I've got colleagues who are. And even if you're not interested in the University of Akron, I'm certain they would be willing to talk to you. So take advantage of it. There's another contact that's willing to help you any way that I can. So don't hesitate to reach out. Because I only wish I would have had a group like this when I was your age. I was lost. I was a farm boy in Willard, Ohio that had no idea where to go. I was fortunate enough to meet a gentleman who was my boss at my first job. I was a computer operator. There was a point in time where people actually had to stand in front of the computer to make them do what they needed to do. And I was a computer operator on night shift. That's how I got started. And the guy that was they were called data processing managers at the time, liked me because he saw how hard I was willing to work. And he took me under his wing. And that's how I got started. I had no idea how to accept a bottle of wine. I had no idea how to conduct myself in a restaurant. I had no idea how to interact with people, and he showed me. I had a wonderful childhood, but I didn't get any of that direction because my parents didn't know how to do it. And I love them more than anything. I miss them terribly. But work hard, find a mentor. I'm willing to be a mentor for you, and I know a lot of other people are willing to do the same. So take advantage. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for sharing and supporting, and contact me. Help in any way I can. Tom, thanks for the invitation. I got to pack up and go to a graduation party.
Wow, wow. Well, while you do that, I'm going to do a little reflection here with them and talk to them. Jim is an unbelievable story. I mean, it's I think what could be represented at the core of this program. And hardworking, started out with, I would say, little education, strove, got an associate's degree, went on, kept working, and another degree, and then worked himself and his way up through the corporate ladder, and it's just amazing to me that we have another speaker who sits here and says, if I had something like this when I was growing up. I sometimes get the feeling, and I know you don't know what you don't know. Does that make sense? You don't know what you don't know yet. So what you're going to have to do is trust all of these talented people that stand up here, and years and years and years of experience, and tell you what you have here is invaluable. Combination of two new committee members telling you about a space out there, whether it's IT or IT combined with medical, and what will be in the next 20, 30 years, their vision, and where you could have just wonderful, exciting careers and jobs, is invaluable. You can't walk up and down the street, no offense to the educators in the room or in your schools. They don't necessarily have that information. We talk about information technology. They don't necessarily have that information because they don't have the expertise and the experience. I cannot impress upon you enough that when you hear somebody stand up here and say, in my career, I can touch athletics, I can touch building maintenance, I can touch finance, I can touch purchasing, I can touch logistics, and they go on and on. How many times have you heard that? You heard people from engineering stand up here. You heard lawyers stand up here. Now you're hearing a CIO from technology stand up here. I guarantee you I could parade 20 other careers up here that can tell you the same thing. I need you to, as you're going forward, and you're choosing your career paths, I need you to open up a little bit. I need you to open your eyes. What I'm deathly afraid of is so many of you are landing on one career path, and you're staking. You have all of your eggs in one nest going forward, and you're like, I only want to do medical, and this is where I want to be, and I only want to do this. We're okay. We're going to support you. And I mean, I think the fact that we're bringing in Dr. Marvin, we're going to support you no matter what you do. But I'm asking you to please open up. I'm asking you that if you're in medical, that you look at a minor in technology. I'm asking that you look at a minor in engineering or a minor in finance. You're all very talented, very smart. You've got wonderful skills in science, technology, engineering, and math, all of the STEM pieces of the puzzle. Look within there and find something else. I want you to have safety nets. You need safety nets. You got to trust us. You may go away in 1 year, and in 12 months, you are like, I've got to go a completely different direction, 180. Some of you go 360. Some of you do it in 12 months. Some of you do it in 24. Some of you, it's going to take forever if you're not prepared. We're trying to get you prepared for that. My wife and I bought a house in California in 1995. A long time ago, right? It's almost 20 years ago. And we moved there, and I'm having a conversation with the gentleman as we bought the house, and I said, where are you going? He said, I'm going to Switzerland. I said, excuse me, what do you do for a living? And he told me, what he did. And I said, well, why are you moving from San Francisco to Switzerland? He says, because I can. He says, with technology today, I can do my job here in San Francisco, in Switzerland, in Germany, in Belgium, and he just went on and on. This is 20 years ago. What Jim is telling you is, it's pretty much the same thing. The world is open to you, but you're going to need to take some blinders off. You're going to have to look at some other experiences. You're going to have to, your convictions today, for most of you, will not be your convictions 12 months, 24 months from now. And that's okay. We're gonna be here, and we're gonna help you. But it'll be a lot easier on yourselves. Don't make it so hard for yourself. Open it up. You have people like Jim come, think about it, make sure you write all the information down. You never know when you're gonna need that contact. Make sure you're talking to him. These jobs in Northeast Ohio, those numbers that are available are mind-boggling. People say there's no jobs. Baloney. Baloney. And the pay scale is $50,000, $60,000 a year. This is incredible. And we now have a member of the operating committee that's willing to help us get that. So thank you very much.
What's incredible is your commitment. I have never met anyone more enthusiastic and committed to helping a group of young adults than this guy. He was.
Have a good afternoon.
Contact me. If you want the presentation, I'll be happy to send it to you.
Thank you, Jim.
Take care. And go Zips.
Yeah. If you have right now, a job or have had a job with the apprenticeship program, raise your hand. Raise them. And how many are using technology in those jobs? Raise your hand. Okay, so a little over half right now. That's what I'm talking about. That's the thing, and you're all in different departments. You're either in logistics, you're in engineering, you're in several different departments, and you're using it. I said to my son, no matter what your major is, if you have IT, you can work in any field, anywhere, if you have that combination, and that still stands true. And this is years ago. This was 10 years ago. That stands true today. This is a wonderful profession, this technology. And I think Dr. Marmon will agree, I reached a level where I was managing enough people. At my job in Cleveland, I had 12 people in technology reporting to me. So I never had to touch a computer. I just had to manage the people that touched the computer. Now that's one way to go. But the computer technology had already bypassed me. You know, it was already, I was on the cusp. I already went into management, and it wasn't like I was doing a career in technology. So it had already passed me up. But I had a whole team to do it. I had 12 people running my information department. That's how important it is. I'm gonna pass out to you, excuse me, at the next meeting, the matrix. We have a matrix on what your wishes were. It's about 6 months old right now. And what we've asked you for is your primary career path, and we've noted that in red. And then we put secondary or even third potential career paths. I'm going to pass it around. You can fill it in, make the changes next meeting, okay? But I would ask you to seriously think. We are desperately trying. We have the majority and bulk of you want medicine. It has taken us a while to get into medicine because, first of all, there weren't a lot of paid apprenticeships. So we were focusing on getting you some paid apprenticeships and getting a resume together. We're concentrating on medical. As a matter of fact, the next session we have a doctor coming in, friend of Mrs. Myers. He's a staff physician at the Cleveland Clinic. And I know you saw one presentation from that doctor, forgot his name. And that was a wonderful presentation. I mean, to me, it was like watching The Wizard of Oz. I mean, I really felt like, you know, he did the lab coat, and he had a little tablet, and he says, here's my team that goes around, and I analyze this, and I analyze that, and we stand there, and we look at this, and we do that, and we do that. Dr. Tom, who's coming in next month, is going to tell you what it really is like to go from there to a staff physician at the Cleveland Clinic, and everything. He's going to tell you how many years he had to eat ramen noodles and mac and cheese, and what his bills were when he finished his residency, and you're gonna get the reality of it. I mean, because we walked away from there, and we were all, wow, that was a great presentation. And I'm okay with that, but I'm also all about, you gotta know the straight skinny. And Dr. Marvin, we'll ask Dr. Marvin, I may ask Dr. Marvin to piggyback on his speech and come in right behind him and